Guys, there seems to be a little bit of drama revolving around the University of Kentucky and their two major coaches. We've got Mark Stoops coming out and getting angry at John Calipari calling Kentucky a basketball school, which they 100% are. But personally, when it comes to this feud, I do agree with Mark Stoops. I just think this is an extreme lack of self-awareness from John Calipari. Let's get into what happened. The quote from Coach K, he says, quote, "This is a basketball school. Alabama is a football school. So is Georgia. No disrespect to our football team. I hope they win 10 games and go to bowls, but this is a basketball school." So he is correct. We all know Kentucky is a basketball school, but when you put this quote into context of Kentucky, literally right before probably this season, they have the highest expectations they've had in 10, 12 years. They have a potential Heisman candidate quarterback, a quarterback who's being mocked in the first round of drafts. If you are Mark Stoops and this quote comes out as you're going through your early fall practices, getting ready for your most anticipated season in years, you got to feel disrespected. I mean, it's just not the right time. And then Stoops comes back and says, "Basketball school, I thought we competed in the SEC, hashtag 4 straight postseason wins." So we know Kentucky had that major win a few years ago. I believe it was the Citrus Bowl against Penn State, kind of their breakthrough. Josh Allen, the linebacker who was a top 10 pick and whatnot. They've had some good players, and now they've got a really good running back, a really good transfer quarterback from Penn State, who once again is kind of like almost a Josh Allen clone in terms of college football. And yeah, this is not the right time for this quote. Calipari went on to say, "Mark and I will be fine. We will get back and talk about it." So listen, there's no way you can have your head basketball coach and your head football coach feuding. So I'm sure the people, the high-ups at Kentucky said, you need to put out a statement. This is going to get fixed. Obviously, it's just something small. But to go out there and not only did he say it's a basketball school, he goes on to say Alabama is a football school, so is Georgia. I mean, if you're Kentucky and you're recruiting some of these kids, you're going to get negative. That's going to be a thing that other programs use to negative recruit against Kentucky. Their head basketball coach saying that they are a basketball school and comparing it to other SEC teams who are football schools. So there's just a lack of self-awareness, especially to make this quote right now. I mean, I'm sure if Indiana's head basketball coach came out and said, "We're a basketball school right now," it wouldn't have the same effect because Indiana doesn't have the expectations that Kentucky does. I just think it's a bad quote in terms of the timing. Yes, he is true. Everyone knows Kentucky is a basketball school, but their football program, who had been clowned on for so long, is finally seems to be breaking through, has some expectations. You play in the SEC East. It's a little bit easier. Maybe 9 wins this year, maybe 10 wins if you have an unbelievable season. But to say something like this before this major year that Kentucky, their highest expectations they've had in a while, it's just not smart. There's a lack of self-awareness, and if I was a Kentucky fan, I would be on Stoops' side. But overall, it's really not good, in terms of anything if your head basketball coach and head football coach are feuding. But that is the drama, and I'm sure it's already squashed at this point. Again, the high-ups at Kentucky are not going to allow this, or any major program. The basketball coach and football coach are going to have to kiss and make up. They'll put out statements, but I think at this point, just a really odd situation with Kentucky finally getting some hype. They've had a few, seasons where they've been better than average. They kind of used to be a joke in the SEC. Now they're really turning it around. And you come out and you make a quote like that weeks before Kentucky's most anticipated season. It just doesn't add up to me. It's just, there's a lack of awareness there. We've also got this story. Lane Kiffin reveals his punter was found at a frat party. Guys, what are the rules when it comes to punters? Because there was I don't know if it was at the University of Miami or something, but there was a punter that was 29 years old. I don't like these dudes. These dudes are grown men that are punting. It's crazy. And Lane Kiffin, look at this story. In desperate need of another punter, Lane Kiffin told his players to search on campus and go find him a punter. And sure enough, they delivered. In Saturday's press conference with the media, Kiffin shared a hilarious story about where they found the latest addition to their football team at a frat party. Quote, yeah, I don't know a whole lot about him. I think he was down at the frat house, like at a keg party or something, where they got him from. So we've got some conditioning work to do with my guy. We just said, hey, go find some punter on campus, and we found one that actually used to be a Division I punter, so you never know. So apparently, this punter did not play football in 2021. He averaged 40 yards per punt as a high school senior, and apparently he goes to keg parties all across the country. Because that's where Ole Miss players discovered him. So, Ole Miss, it's really interesting, and I guess we'll see where Ole Miss is ranked here with the AP preseason poll coming out. We're looking forward to it. Ole Miss, with all those transfers, real unique team. It is a shame they play in the SEC West because it's tough to really give them a ton of expectations. I do think they get Alabama. Yeah, they do get Alabama at home because I know there are some people that are predicting Ole Miss will upset Alabama. I'm not saying it's a lot, but they've got Jackson Dart. A lot of people don't know this about Jackson Dart, the transfer from USC. Jackson Dart was actually rated a 5-star transfer. So 247 Sports is ranking like transfer portal guys because the portal's gotten so big. So they reassign a transfer player a ranking based on how his current college career is going. And Jackson Dart, they might have bumped him down to a high 4-star, but I believe at one point he was a 5-star transfer. So this kid is extremely talented, and the only reason he's transferring from USC is due to Caleb Williams. So Ole Miss could be kind of a sleeper team, and obviously they do have Zach Evans as well. We remember him. I mean, he was ranked number 1 overall in the country for a while in his recruiting class. He got bumped down. Then he had a major saga with Georgia, ends up at TCU, and transfers out after Zach Evans averaged I don't know what it was, but it was a crazy, his yards per carry. Look it up. It's crazy. He didn't get many touches, but he definitely is really talented. So Ole Miss, it'll be interesting to see what they do. And Lane Kiffin finds a punter at a frat party. And then just a few funny graphs I found. Freshman All-Americans QB. Would you look at 2018? Adrian Martinez. That is amazing. Jake Fromm, you remember him? I guess Jake Fromm, he's the reason Justin Fields transferred. Sam Darnold. There was a stretch after the Rose Bowl against Penn State. Sam Darnold was like the greatest quarterback prospect since Andrew Luck. And that whole QB class was really interesting with Baker ending up the number 1 overall pick, Darnold the number 3 overall pick. I think Josh Allen was 6, and then Rosen I think was 10, and there is Rosen in 2015. This is freshman QBs, by the way. JT Barrett 2014, Jameis 2013, and then Manziel 2012. And it looks like they've switched to doing a first-team All-American and a second-team starting in 2018, and I just thought it was funny that Adrian Martinez was on the list. And then how about this one? We've got a North Carolina versus Florida A&M Week 0 prediction. Folks, we're getting desperate here. We got to get the season here. I mean, but let me give you guys the lowdown on this one. What is the prediction here? It literally has a reason why Florida A&M can win. They say North Carolina 41, Florida A&M 13. And the must-see rating on this game is rated a 1 out of 5, apparently. So that is a big... When is that game at? That game's at, I believe, 7 o'clock on ABC. No, it's actually at 8:15. ACC Network. Guys, I do have the ACC Network. It's great. I've got the Big Ten Network, ACC Network, SEC Network. The only network I don't have is the Pac-12 network. Of course, a lot of people, some people out west don't even have the Pac-12 network with how they distribute it, and there's actually a story on the whole Pac-12 network and its major problems that I want to talk about in a future video. But guys, just a few things I wanted to touch on. We've got Lane Kiffin finding the punters' stories are crazy. The punter and kickers, I mean, there are literally 30-year-old kickers on some of these teams. I don't know if it's allowed. It's crazy. How about Ohio State getting Parker Lewis, who's got these major eligibility issues apparently. They're talking about he's supposed to be Ohio State's long-range kicker. They got him to transfer from USC. Now we have Lane Kiffin finding kickers at frat parties, finding punters at frat parties, and then we've got the Kentucky feud, which I am on Mark Stoops' side. It's just something that shouldn't be said. It's going to be used to negative recruit Kentucky. You know, if Kentucky's football program was dead in the water, it's a fine quote. It doesn't matter. While the quote from Coach K is technically true, there's such a lack of self-awareness in why you would say something like this right before one of Kentucky's most high expectation season. A lot of hype going around Kentucky with the quarterback, the running back. So we will see. But guys, that's going to do it for this video. Make sure you're following me on Twitter. Link to that's always in the description. I'm, of course, the Depressed Ginger. Thank you for watching.